Oh, and I am unprepared. Let's do this really quickly. Oh, I'm gonna have to close these blinds, aren't I? Yep, we're doing that. Hang tight, y'all. Oh, so we made it happen. So far, so good. A few adjustments. All right. Yeah. Boom. Now we're ready. Oh, what's up? Oh yeah, that's hot. Anybody out here at Pomona? Probably not, huh? If you're at Pomona, why would you be up here this early listening to me? Yeah, you didn't see me yesterday, Ron. I was bad, man. 8 o'clock coffee? Just like 8 on the dot? Or is that like a specific brand? Oh, man. Okay, it's a brand. I'll have to check that out. Dude, it's been a wild show. The entire like group of folks at Always Evolving Pythons and Beach Bum Exotics and State 48 and Brian Cusco and dude, the list goes on. You go downstairs at the bar and it's full of like some of the more popular YouTubers and breeders out there, and Justin Kobilka is out at this show. But well, look what the cat dragged in.
Pain. Cat dragged in pain.
Mr. Cusco is here. Coffee's ready, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Yep, got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, surviving so far. Like I said, you guys didn't see me yesterday. I was a wreck yesterday.
Yeah, that wasn't what I would call survival.
No, it wasn't survival. It was, it wasn't dying. Well, it was close to dying. But, yeah, so I'm an old fart these days, and bedtime at 9:30 is great to me. Well, somehow I stayed up till at least 3:30 with Forrest. Forrest Fanning is Steven. And yeah, that was a late night. And I was deaf the next morning. Praying to the porcelain gods, we'll say. At least once. So I had to nap and do all that stuff.
There was a porcelain god and there was a cardboard.
Oh yeah, there was a cardboard god too. Big shout out to the folks at the Pomona Fairplex stocking ample trash cans around the building for us in our times of need. Yeah. So needless to say, I didn't partake yesterday and was a good kid and went to bed early. Well, not early. I was still in bed at midnight, but I
Got fired.
yeah, Brian fired me.
You still have to work today, though.
I still have to work today. It's just well, you weren't gonna pay me anyway. Yeah, I got fired, but I'm working.
Yeah, that bed constantly.
Today I've got to be in tip-top shape because actually, now that I think about it, Sunday's usually a really good day for it, depending on the schedule. But Sunday, there's a lot of families and kids that'll come through. There were a lot yesterday. I mean, it was packed yesterday. And Danny Noss and his kids came by, and I got the biggest heartwarming hug from those kids, and that was awesome. But today, I think I've got to be in tip-top shape because I didn't get to do as much of the, playing with kids and snakes and doing all that magic making, as we'll say. So today should be a good day for that. But what would be a carpets and coffee without a carpet python, right? I was sitting here going, well, this is going to be a terrible one because I don't have any carpets, but that's a lie. Ugh. I have 5 carpets with me.
Yeah.
Come pop a squat.
All right.
Pop a squat, Brian.
gonna be Riley's hype man today.
Yeah, he's got the deep voice hype going too.
Hype.
So I had been talking with Dan Maleri for the last couple weeks and keeping an eye on seeing if he was able to get any Popwin carpets in. Are you leaking?
No, I just can't get it off.
Oh. And Dan, at the time, wasn't sure how many he was going to bring. Not all of them were feeding. And then turns out he brought a lot more than we both expected, which is fortuitous for me and others. So I picked up a few of these little import Popwin babies, and this will make my import group up to 4 now. But this will be my 3rd pair of these. These just your standard, like, well, there's nothing standard about it, we'll say. Brian's struggling with his coffee mug.
Dude, do you see what's happening here?
Yeah, you can't get it off, huh?
Well,
The thing just spins, huh?
no, it's not that just like.
Whoa, your little insular thing came out.
Yeah.
Well, now try and hold it from there and do the same.
Yeah, jeez.
So, this is the little male I grabbed, and he's still got a lot of his neonate red color because like these are fresh babies from Indo. Like this guy only just had his first shed. He isn't really eating yet, but he's got great striping, and although the lighting in here isn't great, he's a nice red color, which they all lose after a few sheds. It becomes their natural browns and blacks, and then the tans come in. It's a very much it varies how much the babies show it, but it doesn't stay. It doesn't mean anything. So if anybody is on the fence about coming out to Pomona and you want carpet pythons, you can get some nice little imports. Also, Todd's out here, and Carrie King was there yesterday with Todd. So a lot of people got to meet Carrie and take photos with him, and then see those pretty nice carpets out there too. All right, hello, good morning. And this is my little female.
Bro, if there's ever a morning I needed coffee.
Does anybody watching have any advice on how Brian could get the lid off of the insulating cup of his cup? Basically, you know how...
Oh, burning my hand off. God, let it.
Oh, yeah. Can you hold the base with a towel? Like a hand towel?
Not if I want it to stay still.
Yeah. We're going to conquer this cup.
Jeez.
So these little babies are going to... Yeah, good grip. The only problem is that thing's hot. Who's Tommy Wiseau? Somebody said you look like Tommy Wiseau.
I have no idea what Tommy Wiseau
I don't
is.
either. I think it was Justin Smith who said it. Oh, coffee in the wine glass.
I've given up on that. I'll let it cool down so I can grab it.
Yeah. Get a new cup and accept defeat. Yep. I think we've done that. Well, defeat is a relative term because I would call this success. Yeah, there we go. Euphoric's out here. Saw a lot of people wearing your shirt out at the show.
I actually wear a shirt at the show.
Yeah, he had the green one on at one point. The Room. I don't think I've seen that. The Room. Anyway, before we get lost, I do want to remind people that coming up next month is the Southeast Carpet Fest in Florida at Cody and Pia Bartolini's place, Terrestrial and Arboreal. And that's going to be a big fun weekend, and you do not have to have carpet pythons or keep carpet pythons to go. It's kind of an open community invite sort of thing that started from a carpet python branch, and there's actually now a UK chapter that's going to have their first event this year across the pond, so that's pretty wicked.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that freaking cool?
That's sweet, man.
Yeah. So I think that might be like the 7th chapter total, and the Northeast one is the original one. It's been going, I think this will be its 8th year, and to have one overseas is pretty...
That is awesome.
That's pretty impressive, so...
The Morelia community is probably tighter than any community is a reptile. It seems to me.
Yeah, for sure. I obviously don't know all the other communities, so I'm not going to say that there's, like turtle people are probably pretty close
I'm
knit.
just trying to think of what other species has its own fest like that.
Iguana Fest? That's kind of coming up, right?
Yeah,
That's a
it's
newer one.
only the one
There's
show
only
the
the
type
one.
puts on, though.
Yeah.
This one is like grown to a national, now international.
Yeah, iguana. Yeah. So what that means is everybody else has a great example to follow for their own things. We could do. What if there was like a pet fest, like a pet reptile fest, just for like the non-breeders and just like.
Well, I feel like that's what this is.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, they do. The guys out northeast do look at Tinley as also an unofficial meeting of the Carpet Fest at Carpet Row. So they usually look at that as another one. So you have plenty of options to go meet people and do that. But there's Facebook pages for it all too. And you can definitely get linked in with people and go hang out. It usually ends up being a barbecue, auction for USARC. Oh, at the Southeast one, they're raising money for nidovirus research. So there's like 4 universities involved where they're going to send a lot of the money. They're still going to do t-shirt sales, and that money will go to USARC. But then anything from the auction at the show will be going towards nidovirus research. And
I thought it was USARC. I want my sweatshirt back.
they're going to do both.
I was kidding.
No take-backsies. As you can tell, Brian might have not been as reserved as me last night.
I'm never as reserved as anybody in any given situation.
No, that's true.
Well, that's not entirely true.
But what did you say? You're a man of the people. You can't stop.
I don't think I said that.
Well, you said man of the people.
I said man of the people?
Yesterday, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was somebody else saying that.
No.
It surely wasn't me.
No, I'm pretty sure it was when Dave was in here and we were thinking, Dave was like, can we just sit and be like old for a minute? And you're like, no, I gotta go. I'm a man of the people. I gotta keep going.
I can't imagine myself saying that. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I could also be remembering it terribly wrong. You know what's happened to me yesterday, so. This isn't going to be a long stream, by the way. The last few have had great topics and have gone on to pretty neat stuff. Is that a new mug? Or no, I brought mugs. I'm that guy. I brought my coffee kettle and press and grinder and all that stuff like a snob.
This is a whiskey tumbler.
Yeah. We're just improvising around here. Ooh, this thing just struck at the hot coffee. That was cool. Saw that. Speaking of mugs, I did want to give a shout out to Scott. So at the US ARC auction, everybody has been getting pretty creative as far as like what they bring and donate and or even make for that show. There's a lot of art that gets made. One of our friends had the great idea of getting some stuff etched.
Yeah.
And if any of you follow Always Evolving Pythons and saw his Instagram story, one of those items was in the auction, and he showed it off, and it was a machete that was etched with like the logo and everything for the Super Show and the dates and everything. Like, it was gorgeous, a black machete. And it went for a good chunk of change, so that was some awesome.
1050.
Yeah, it went for over a G. So, good morning. What up? So, Scott's a good friend, and he definitely didn't have to do this, but to give you an idea, he had these all etched, and these are those really, really rad Arctic cups. And then he had my logo put on it. He did it for Brian. He did quite a few. He did quite a few. He went out of his way to hook us up. Jimmy got one too.
Yeah.
This, if you guys know, it's a good solid mug.
Scott's a good solid dude, man.
Yeah, Scott's a good guy. So if any of you ever have the chance to meet Scott Bolter, he's usually hanging around with us. Big tall guy. He's kind of quiet. He's a big teddy bear.
He is a big.
He's a big teddy bear.
He's a prison guard for a long time.
Yeah, he was a prison guard and he was medically retired. He used to live out in Hawaii as well. So he's out here doing the reptile thing. Actually, you've showed off his collection in your video, Big Balls and Little Ticks. How could you forget that name? But anyway, I wanted to make sure I gave Scott a shout out for that, because that was insanely generous and nice of him, and he did it in a way that raised money for US ARC. So like, I don't know how much better he could have done it. That was cheers, Scott.
really good times here, man. This weekend's been awesome.
Yeah, this has probably been, like, each year it just gets better and better. If any of you haven't made it out to Pomona, I highly recommend it. It's like our West Coast Tinley sort of a thing. Like,
Definitely.
there's definitely the East Coast and West Coast versions of the big conglomeration of it, and I would say Pomona has taken that West Coast hold.
I always kind of felt that the Pomona show was more. There's size-wise, it's comparable to Tinley.
Mm-hmm.
But the one big difference I always saw is that everybody's there for the show. When the show's over, everybody kind of goes home.
Really?
Whereas Tinley is just one like big party the whole time.
Yeah.
Like a big group. It's like, and this is starting to get a little more of that going on. Like
Yeah.
Everybody's hanging out. And everybody's not just going home after the show. Everybody's sticking around and
Yeah.
hanging out. And
Yeah, definitely. The auction's a good time. And then you start seeing familiar faces too. And like, then you start looking forward to the shows. Like, that's the one time of the year typically you get to see these people. Or in Pomona twice a year. And yeah, like, there's so many people that I only see on this weekend. And then after that, like, I'll just, keep up with them, via phone or internet or whatever. But it's definitely like, when I first found out about Pomona, I was stoked because of the animals, right? And it was all about the animals, going to the show, animals, and that's definitely part of it. But it's like, I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't more about the people nowadays.
yeah, which is beneficial, I think, in a way, or in a big way. It's the more you get other people stoked on stuff, then it just kind of grows it. There's always, I always feel there's this little piece of people that would like to keep it small. Because, granted, with anything, as it gets bigger and more popular and more people get, then some aspects of it start to crumble or start to deteriorate.
For sure.
Because of just like comparing it to a music festival. That you go to this really cool music festival and it's really awesome. It's not a lot of people know about it. It's a really cool vibe.
Yeah.
And then it just gets blown up big, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is not what I used to like.
Yeah.
There is that side. I see that side to
Sure.
anything where people, and I don't want a bunch of people coming into this thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a necessary evil. Like, there's a balance. Like, you gotta have enough people coming in to keep it growing and going. And like, yeah, I can understand where somebody's coming from. They want to keep it close and familiar, tight-knit, but then it doesn't progress. So, and it's fun when it progresses and grows, and because each year it's just like the auction gets bigger and better, the show gets bigger and better, and everyone I've been talking to this weekend has been remarking about how much diversity there has been on the floor this weekend. And to be honest, I didn't see a lot of ball python booths. I didn't walk around a ton, but I was actually, I stopped at the ball python booths because there was some really nice quality ones, and because there's all this other variety, I actually kind of felt myself wanting to just look at a few of them anyway. So, but there was like a really awesome Timor python. There's some Bolins around. There's tons of monitors, some emeralds. Dan Maleri obviously has a bunch of like Pataeus and baby blue tongues and all the Indo stuff. And I actually need to see if he has any baby mangroves on the table for somebody. But yeah, it's a rad show. So if any of you have ever been on the fence about whether or not you should make it, I highly encourage you to try and plan for the August one at this point, because it happens twice a year. Oh yeah, John always has like top shelf Crebos, indigos. He has some amazing Mexican tiger rat snakes that are like yellow, black, and white, and just like the most gorgeous jewel of a snake. Beaded lizards, tortoises. You talked to John yesterday.
Yeah, I might be picking something up from him today.
Oh yeah. People are jumping on the dry Marcon train around here.
I've been not on the fence about it, but a fence that I knew I was going to jump over, just walking along it to figure out
It's just the right time.
which one, when the right time was to jump
Yeah.
off the fence. It's
Yeah.
been years now.
Yeah. They're fun, man. They really are. I'm glad that... See, that's another thing that these shows are good about, is giving those other species like a little bit of a platform to like grow, which is cool when they've got people endorsing them. So, well, we're right at the 20-minute mark. Feeling pretty good at that.
Feeling good.
That's a relative term around here. I'm feeling good. Anyway, we're gonna call it. We're gonna get ready because we got interviews and all sorts of good stuff to do. again, if anybody's out here in Pomona, please come by and say hi. If you see Brian at the booth and he's interviewing and talking with somebody, just hang out or do a lap and come back, because we got stuff scheduled. I'll be there hanging out with a few people. But yeah, let's make Sunday a good day. So, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. Have fun, and hope to see you all today. I'll see you later, Adam.